Alright, these are standard roses and they need to be pruned slightly differently from your regular bush roses. What is a standard rose? Standard rose is a rose on a stick. So you've got this very long trunk here, and at this point here they've grafted on a nice flowering rose. Generally you've got them in a row there, they make a nice little feature. We've got 3 here in a row, and so you get in summertime all that stuff on the top looks pretty round, and that's a kind of feature that you want. It's a lollipop kind of shape. It's very architectural. So how do we prune a standard rose? There's one that hasn't been pruned. You see it's got a lot of little growth that's happened last year. The flowers, and there's still even a couple here in the middle of winter, the flowers come from that fresh growth from the previous year, so you want to trim back so that you're encouraging more growth to happen, so you'll get fresh flowers next year. You don't, because it's a standard rose, you don't have to prune it to be round in winter. So that's the first thing. You're not trying to keep it round. What you want actually is for it to look like a wagon wheel. So not round not spherical like a ball, but like a wagon wheel. Here's one that has been pruned. You can see the spokes of the wagon wheel coming out in lots of different directions. Pretty flat, not exactly flat, but we're not looking for a sphere or a ball. We're actually just looking for a circle, like a wagon wheel. Next year, of course, all the plant grows upwards, so all the new shoots and plants and growth will come up, and you've started with a circle and it will fill itself up into a ball quite naturally. So that's the first thing. You don't have to make it spherical in winter time, but you have to make it like a circle, like a wagon wheel. And look at it from the top there. Can you see the framework there of branches that we've cut? Okay, there are only 2 types of cut that you're doing on a standard rose. If you're extending the spoke of your wagon wheel out, then you trim to a downward facing, outward facing bud to extend the sideways growth. So prune to a downward facing bud like this one here. The downward facing bud won't grow down, but it'll grow sideways. And the other kind of cut you're making is for absolutely vertical growth. Then you're just trimming that down to 1 bud, and next year you'll get a flower growing straight up from that little bud there. Vertical growth, 1 bud. Horizontal growth, trim it to a strong downward facing bud to continue that horizontal growth. Okay, so let's do it here on this one. Vertical growth, remove it. Sideways growth like this, trim to an outward and downward facing bud. Vertical growth, remove. Or at least trim the vertical bud to something that's going to face outwards like that bud. This one's pretty much vertical. There's not a lot I can do there. I'll just trim it back to the first stem there. That one's going directly upwards. Okay. So again, we've only got this sideways motion is what we're trimming, we're encouraging, and any upward growth has been removed.